Okay, so welcome. It's lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Miss Curtin and this is Miss Dandy, and we're both the Year 6 teachers. So Miss Dandy is going to kick us off with just talking you through the staff in Year 6.
Yeah, so in Cobra's class, obviously the class teacher is Miss Curtin and I am the class teacher for Pipins. We've got 4 amazing teaching assistants spread across Year 6. We've got Mrs. O'Sullivan and Mrs. Forbes and Mrs. Napoli, who've all done many years in Year 6, and Miss Neve, who is new to the team, but she's already absolutely amazing. So we've got a really strong team this year.
So the structure of the day, obviously we're back to the new normal, which was the old normal, which is nice. So we're all mixing and having a lovely time in Year 6. So we have registration and arithmetic as soon as they arrive, so they know to come in, put their lunch boxes on the lunchbox trolley, put their things in their lockers, and water bottles away, wash hands, and then they sit straight down and they get on with their arithmetic. We go through that once they've had a go at all the questions, and they win bimbles for arithmetic questions that they get right. So do have a chat with them about bimbles, because I know it's very, very popular at the moment as it's new and fresh. Then we have maths, reading, assembly. On a Monday, we have a whole Key Stage 2 assembly. On a Wednesday, we have a whole Key Stage 2 assembly. And on a Friday, we have a whole Key Stage 2 assembly in the hall. And then on other days, we have just an extended learning time in the classroom where we can either read our class reader, watch a news round assembly, or have some PSHE or just general class chats. Then they go out to play, which again is just Key Stage 2. We've managed to split play times and assemblies to give everyone a little bit more space and room to move around. Then we have English, where we do our super rights, which is very much linked to our book at the moment, which is Goodnight, Mr. Tom. Then we have lunch, which again, they're eating in the hall. And we bring the lunchbox trolleys down to the hall so that they're not moving around the corridors too much. Where they get their lunchbox, they go in, they eat, and they go back out to play. And then in the afternoons, we do grammar and then a whole spectrum of different foundation activities depending on what day it is. And then, as you know, the end of the school is at 3 o'clock.
Might just ask everyone to mute themselves quickly.
Okay.
Sorry, is it all right if everyone just mutes themselves? I'm just a bit worried about people not being able to hear us. I know Zoom can be a bit, it can play up a wee bit. Thank you very much. Right. Curriculum. So obviously in Year 6, we have a very wide curriculum that we cover. So we do a lot of reading, writing, and SPAG, which is spelling, punctuation, and grammar. We focus quite a lot on maths and arithmetic and science. They also have 2 PE sessions a week now. So instead of just one day of a longer session of PE, they have 2 split sessions of PE. And right now they're getting a lacrosse player in to teach them lacrosse, which is amazing. They've all really enjoyed that so far. We've got PSHE to help them with emotion regulation, their place in society and learning about different cultures and stuff. We've got arts, music, geography and history, and RE, which is all kind of closely linked to our main topic driver, which is World War II this term. So that's all very, very linked, and they really seem to be enjoying that so far. Got RE, computing, DT, which is design and technology, and French. So we've got a really nice array of subjects that they're learning.
So the topics for the whole of the autumn term is A Child's War, where we read Goodnight, Mr. Tom. And this is a very popular book we've done year on year on year, and every single class has absolutely loved it and hasn't wanted to even go out to play. They've wanted to keep on reading it. So they're completely immersed in that, and that feeds in, like Miss Dandy said, to our history, but also into our writing very much so as well. And then in the spring term, we do Blood Heart, which is all about the circulatory system, where we read a book about Pig Heart Boy, which again is tried and tested and very much engages the children. And then our summer 1 and summer 2 is an extremely busy term for Year 6 because they have all of the extracurricular things like the residential. We do our show. Hopefully this year, we didn't get to do it last year, but hopefully this year we'll be back doing our end of year show. But we do focus on Hola Mexico, all about the Mayan civilization. So they are the topics of the year.
Yeah, so like Miss Curtin just said, Year 6 is a very busy year for doing kind of extra things on top of in school. So we obviously have our big residential trip in May where we go to Swanage for I think it's 4 nights. Yeah. We go down to Swanage so to help us to boost up their knowledge of the topics that we are doing, we do educational visits. So this term we'll be going to Henley Fort in Guildford, where they learn about the home fronts from World War II. For the circulatory system and Pig Heart Boy, we go to Bodyworks in London, which is really fun. They always love that one. And then we're having a Mayan civilization workshop come into school. So they'll kind of learn all about the Mayan traditions, the Mayan calendar, all those really cool things that go alongside all of that. And then obviously at the end, we go to Swanage and have a great time down on the beach for a couple of days, which is really lovely.
All of these obviously are subject to COVID, but we're hoping that the worst is over and that we're going to be able to move forward with all of these fun activities. So obviously SATs is a big one in year 6, and I'm sure it's something that has passed through all of your minds. It is going ahead this year as usual, but we will be holding a SATs meeting in April time to go through practice, so to show you sort of the questions, the organisation, the logistics of it, which staff will be involved, which children may get extra time or scribes and things like that. So don't worry, it is going ahead. We are both experienced year 6 teachers, so we know what we're doing. The children are in good hands, and by the time we get there, they'll be dying to sit them. But we are going to hold a proper meeting to go through all of that in April.
Yeah, the only information we've really had so far is that they're definitely happening. We haven't really heard much else from the Department of Education yet. So every week, myself and Miss Curtin, we have to leave the classroom to go and obviously prepare for the week ahead. Our day to leave the classroom for a couple of hours to plan and prepare is on a Monday afternoon. So after lunch on a Monday, the children have got either Mr. Tuck or Miss Stillwell, both of whom are amazing teachers, and they take them for foundation subjects for that afternoon, which is really good for the kids to kind of, obviously they get taught by the head teacher, which is amazing. They love that. And then Miss Stillwell's also amazing at all the other different things that they do, which is really good.
So homework, it's pretty similar to the year 5 homework. There are just more books. So what we do is we do a table, and they'll have a maximum of 3 books a week. And that'll be reading, maths, and a bit of grammar, sometimes 2 books, majority of the time 3 books. That goes out on a Wednesday and it comes back in on a Monday. And the children will mark that themselves. However, we have a really clear sort of rule and policy that we come up with it ourselves. I'm getting tongue-tied, sorry. Where they mark it, but if they have more than 5 questions wrong, that they come and seek an adult, and we go through that with them. They're also expected to read every night, which doesn't necessarily have to be with an adult, but we just ask that once a week you sit down and read with your child, just to ask them questions and make sure they are understanding what they're reading, because we often find that they can read fluently, but the comprehension isn't always as clear. So they can write in their own reading record, that's fine, but just once a week, if you could read with them just that once, that'd be really, really helpful.
I think we found last year as well with the homework that if your child is struggling with an aspect of the homework, it was quite often last year the spelling, the punctuation, the grammar stuff. Obviously, as adults, that kind of stuff is kind of what we learn in primary school as well. So it can be quite tricky to support them with that. But if they're struggling with it, just get them to come in at some point before the Monday. So if we get it on a Wednesday night, on the Thursday or the Friday, if they come in and tell us they're struggling with it, we can sit down and help them with that, just to avoid them getting worried about it over the weekend. It's just to help them as well.
Also, we are going to be starting a homework club like before COVID. That's in the pipeline. There'll be more information coming out about that. It will more than likely be invitation only, but if there are any extra spaces, or if you feel that your child would really benefit from that, then do let one of us know, and we will, hopefully there'll be space to add them into the mix.
Yeah, so obviously the usual expectations, so attendance, children should be at school on time each day. Attendance is expected to be higher than 96%. For the uniform, we've kind of gone back to pre-COVID. We're being quite tight about uniform this year, so we're trying to make sure that it's in line with the expectations that I think were emailed out to parents. So no jewelry and no large hair accessories or kind of out there hairstyles. Make sure that they've got ties on and all that kind of stuff. They've been looking very smart so far.
They have, yeah.
So it's not a concern at all. And then for the PE kit, I'm sure you can see that, but I think it's Wednesday for both of us.
Yeah, so Wednesday, because we both have lacrosse split. The morning gets split in half. We both have lacrosse in the morning. So Cobras will wear PE just on the Wednesday, because we also have our second session on the Wednesday afternoon. That may change when lacrosse finishes, but I will communicate that with the parents of my class, and I'll make sure the children are really clear on that. And then Pythons are the Wednesday and the Friday.
We have lacrosse on the Wednesday, and then we have another PE session on the Friday. And obviously they've been quite good as if they're doing a sport after school, then they can come in their PE kits to school to do the after school club.
And again, PE kits need to be the Grovelands t-shirt or a maroon coloured t-shirt with a pair of plain black trousers or black shorts or black skirt with trainers. And then they can wear their school jumper if needs be.
Yeah, so I'm sure you already know this, but here are all the Grovelands values. These are the kind of values that we talk about them in class, we push them in PSHE lessons, we talk to the children about them pretty much daily, and it is something that they do show, and it's something that we talk about in assemblies and stuff. So we've got a new postcard system. So there's postcards that have each different value printed on the front of them. So if a teacher or another child notices that a child is showing one of these values, we can send a postcard home to you, and we'll get your address from the front office, and they will send that postcard to your house, and it will arrive. And just to recognize the efforts of the children in school, because they obviously are lovely and they work really hard. So it's good to recognize their efforts and give them something a little bit special sent home to them. Yeah.
They also link to the achievement assemblies on a Friday and the behaviour assemblies, and also to our values tokens as well in school, which is another behaviour system that we use. So here we go, our behaviour system. So Grovelands use values tokens, and the children can earn these for a variety of different things, down to good manners, which are also linked to our values. The tokens are collected by each class and then taken down to a central, there's almost like slots which they can go and post them through. And at the end of each term, they get counted up, and then the winning house will have a day of mufti. There's more exciting things in the pipeline in terms of whole school rewards and all sorts of things. We're really going to push the values tokens this year. We really want to be one collective school, a family, a support network, all working towards one common denominator. So there's more to come with the values tokens, but at the moment they're going down a storm.
Yeah. So obviously in year 6, we're looking at a year that children are kind of worrying about secondary school or SATs. They've got quite a lot to contend with this year. In class, myself and Miss Curtin, we do very much encourage the children to tell us how they're feeling, tell us what they're worried about. We both have kind of emotion charts in our class where they can non-verbally show us how they're feeling. And we also have kind of worry boxes they can write in anonymously. Obviously, if your child feels that they want to tell you something and they don't feel like they can tell us quite yet because we're quite new to them, then do encourage them to chat to you, and then you can relay that to us or encourage them to come and speak to us themselves. And yeah, it's just about making sure that we nip those worries in the bud, because obviously that's what we're here to do. We're here to help. And if you have any concerns, and obviously myself and Miss Curtin are at the year 6 block every day, rain or shine, early in the morning till quite late on in the afternoon. So if you do have any worries, then come and speak to us first. If you obviously can't get to us, then send an email to the office. They send your email straight to us right away. And then obviously if we can't resolve it, you can move it up to the phase leader. Our phase leader is Miss Curtin. So get to Miss Curtin, and then again, you can go up towards Mrs. Coleman and Mr. Tuck. But hopefully we are on the ball and we'll be able to sort any problems or concerns that you have ASAP.
So parent meetings, we are having parent consultations, which at the moment I think are still going to be virtual in autumn and spring. And then those that have children that have special educational need plans, they have a pupil passport, and we will be having meetings for those as well, which will be held virtually too, just to run through targets and things like that. So there'll be lots of sort of not face-to-face, but virtual to virtual contact in more of a formal setting. And then like Miss Dandy said, we're always at the block and via email if you need to speak to us.
Yeah, so whilst most children are obviously back in school, and that is where we want them to be, because that's obviously the best place for us to teach them. So should a child have to isolate after testing positive for COVID-19, all you have to do is just email the front office and they will let us know when your child is going to be expected back in school, and we can send out remote learning tasks via email, or we can print them off and have them delivered for you, because I know printers might not be in houses. It depends. So yeah, it does only applicable if the child doesn't have any symptoms and is therefore well enough to actually complete the tasks. If they have symptoms and are unwell, then we wouldn't expect them to have to do the home learning.
So that's all from us.
It's a lot of information.
It is a lot of information.
Shocked at you.
Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask?
Feel free to put them in the chat function or unmute. Either way. See if we can find the chat. Have we enabled chat?
Yeah, I think so.
Chat, yeah. Okay. So the chat function is there if you have any questions.
Or feel free to unmute and just shout out. That's fine. It feels funny saying that, shout out, when we're normally saying, please don't shout out. Oh, well, that's fantastic. Hopefully we've answered all your questions and that's been really clear, and that the information that we've given you has been helpful. So yeah, other than that, we just say thank you for joining us. It's nice to see everybody's faces, and we hope to see you around school at some point throughout the year.
Yeah. And we'll let you go. And if you have any questions afterwards, then just let us know. And the kids are really good. So if you have any questions, you can always ask them to ask us. They're quite good at relaying.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Chat.
Oh, chat. I think I was saying thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Have a nice afternoon.